Hello friends, welcome to EduTap. Welcome to the 38th lecture of economics and social issues. If you can hear me, if the audio is clear and the video is clear, please give me a thumbs up in the comment section. Good evening to all of you present over here. We are here to talk about economics and social issues, which is an important component for RBI Grade B as well as NABARD Gr A examination. As I have mentioned that this is the 38th lecture of the series. If you have not seen the previous 37 lectures, I would urge you to go to the playlist and view those lectures and benefit from the same, right? चलिए please give me a confirmation regarding the audibility and the visibility and everything, and then we will start our discussion with another component of Indian political system. In the previous lecture also I had spoken about Indian political system, which is a part of economics and social issues, and today again we are going to talk about an important component within that Indian political system chapter. So if you can hear me, if the audio is clear and the video is clear, please give me a thumbs up in the comment section. I'll just wait for 30 seconds for some confirmation from all of you. I request all of you to please be kind enough. Right. Everything appears to be in order. So let us begin. So we are coming out with a good number of free videos for your preparation on our YouTube channel. So I request you to subscribe to the YouTube channel for RBI, for NABARD, for SEBI, for EPFO, for IB, for various examinations. We are coming out with these free videos. So the videos that we are hosting on our YouTube channel, the notes related to that video is available in our Telegram channel. So you should join EduTap's Telegram channel. You should download the Telegram app and you should search EduTap and you should join the Telegram channel so that you do not miss out on any note, right? And you should subscribe to the YouTube channel so that you do not miss out on any important video that we are hosting for you, right? So keep this in mind. We have this Hall of Fame about which we are very proud. We are very good results that we have been able to produce by the grace of God, by the hard work of our team, and obviously the hard work of the aspirants in RBI Grade B, NABARD Grade A as well as SEBI Grade A examination. Consistently in the last many years, EduTap has been able to produce a very good number of results, right? So we have been giving this guidance to all our aspirants and we would request you to be benefiting from the same guidance. You can become a part of our paid courses from end to end for these examinations from RBI, for NABARD and for SEBI. If you want to prepare right from scratch, right from zero level up to the level of rank, you can prepare with us. You need not go anywhere, you did not do anything, you just need to become a part of our paid courses to be able to benefit from the same. We have launched these courses for RBI, NABARD as well as NABARD Grade B as well as SEBI Grade A and EPFO, AO, EO apart from other courses. Do visit www.edutap.co.in as well as call us on 8146207241 or write to us on hello@edutap.co.in to be participating in these courses. I give some homework questions at the end of every lecture. Nilesh Suryavanshi, Lubna Abid, Chinmoy Saikia, Deepika Pareva, Neha Tripathi, Durlabh Raghuvanshi, Ankit Satpati, Harsha Vardhan, Priya Gairi and Abin K have been kind enough to answer the homework questions mentioned in the previous lecture. Today also at the end of this lecture I am going to give you 5 relevant questions which can appear in the examination. Do find out answers to those questions and do comment those answers in the comment section of this video. Now, I am going to place 10 questions in front of you one by one. I would request you to answer those questions to the best of your abilities, to the best of your knowledge. Thereafter, once I have shown the questions to you, we will be discussing certain theory and then we will again be attempting those same 10 questions, right? So let us begin very quickly. The 6 freedoms of the Indian citizens have been enshrined in Article 14 to 28, Article 14 to 35, Article 19, Article 21 to 26, none of the above. We're talking about fundamental rights, we're talking about Indian political system. Fundamental rights is a very, very important aspect of our constitution. Constitution is a very important aspect of Indian political system. Indian political system is a very important aspect of economics and social issues ka static portion. That is why we are talking about fundamental rights. In the previous lecture also we had spoken a little about various aspects of constitution. In this lecture we are going to continue doing that. I request you to please be kind enough to answer the first question. Whatever answers you all are sharing, please write 1A, 1B, 1C, 1D or 2A, 2B or 3A, 3B so that we can understand that आप कौन से question का answer दे रहे हैं, right? चलिए, Ishita Tripathi, good evening. Chinmoy, good evening. Nadeem, good evening. Priya Gairi, good evening. Let us be kind enough to start answering these questions. First question has been displayed to you. 6 freedoms of the Indian citizens have been enshrined in which article of the constitution? पहले question का answer आप लोगों को देना है. I'm waiting for some answers. Robin Hazari has said that the answer should be B, 1B. I request you to please write 1B, Robin Hazari. I'm waiting for some more answers so that we can see like what is the student's opinion regarding this question. Right? Many students have this tendency to focus only upon economics so far as ESI is concerned. Don't do that. Cover the entire syllabus, which is exactly what we do in our courses. We cover the entire syllabus end to end. So whatever has been mentioned in the notification will be covered by us. Moving ahead to question number 2. right against exploitation seeks to protect the weaker sections of society by prohibiting traffic in human beings and begar, prescribing minimum wages for the workers, placing a ban on introduction of compulsory service by the state on the plea of public interest, all of the above or none of the above. You have to tell me that when we are trying to protect against exploitation, how exactly we are trying to do that. So right against exploitation, which is a part of fundamental rights, that seeks to protect the weaker sections of society. How does it do that? By prohibiting traffic in human beings and begar, prescribing minimum wages, placing a ban on introduction of compulsory service by the state on the plea of public interest, all of the above or none of the above. I'm waiting for second question ka answers. The first question ka answers Robin Hazari, Priya Gairi and Nadeem Azad have given as 1B. Okay, so 1B was given as the first question ka answer. Many students may feel uncomfortable attempting these questions. That is all right. We are here to learn. We are here to explore various aspects of the syllabus, various facets of the syllabus, and it is important that we talk about these topics also, right? So let us see what is your answer for question number 2. Robin Asari is saying that the answer for the second question should be 2A. Let us wait for some more answers for the second question. I request all of you to please participate very actively. It is okay whether you know it or whether you don't know it. If you don't know it, you can comment skip, and if you know it, you can answer the question. Priya Gairi and Nadeem Azad both have said that the answer should be 2A. Moving ahead to the third question. The right to freedom of religion granted by the Indian Constitution implies that the Indian citizens are free to have faith in a religion other than the state religion, have to follow the religion of the state, have the freedom to profess, practice or propagate a religion of their choice. Not having faith in some religion shall not be appointed to government offices. Those who are not having faith in some religion shall not be appointed to government offices, or none of the above. What does the right to freedom of religion, which is a part of the Indian Constitution, what does it imply, right? Does it mean that we are free to have faith in religion other than the state religion? Does it imply that we have to follow the religion of the state? Does it imply that we have the freedom to profess, practice or propagate a religion of our choice? Does it imply that not having faith in some religion, we will not be appointed to government offices, or none of the above? You have to give me the answer for the third question. Chinmoy Saikia, okay, you have skipped the question. Nadeem Azad, you have given answer as 3C. Robin Hazari has given answer as 3C. Priya Gairi has given the answer as 3C. Very good. Chaliye, moving ahead to the fourth question. Right to freedom of religion. Again, we are talking about right to freedom of religion, right? What does it mean? Does it mean religious instructions shall be provided in all government education institutions? Does it mean state shall encourage religious thinking and give preference to persons with religious bent of mind in matter of employment? Does it mean that all persons shall have right to establish institutions for religious and educational purposes? Are A, B and C all correct? All of the above statements are correct, or none of the above statements are correct? This is the fourth question. It is again about right to freedom of religion. Please mark my words, my friends, that many a times we may cover a particular topic from one dimension, right? But the examiner may ask us a question related to that topic from some other dimension. So we have to be a little more comfortable with stuffs. We have to read various facets, various approaches toward that same concept, so that we are on safe grounds. We are on, we have a decent understanding of the syllabus. And that is true for almost anything and everything that we read. That what we may read may not exactly be asked, but something else related to that may be asked. So it is very important to have a good breadth of reading as well as a decent depth of reading, so that we are able to actually tackle the kind of question that may appear in the examination. Let us see what is your answer for the fourth question. Nadeem Azad is saying that the fourth question ka answer should be E. Priya Gairi is saying that the answer she would like to skip the question, right? Okay, moving ahead to the fifth question. The Constitution grants cultural and educational rights with a view to evolve a common national culture, to eradicate illiteracy from the country, to help the minorities conserve their culture, all of the above or none of the above. Why have we granted cultural and educational rights in our constitution? Because we want to evolve a common national culture, because we want to eradicate illiteracy, because we want to help minorities conserve their culture, because of all of the above reasons, or because of none of the above reasons? This is the question that is being asked. Pretty straightforward question that is being asked to you. Fourth question ka answer Robin Hazari has given as E, Nadeem Azad has given as E, and Priya Gairi had skipped the question. Now let us see what you all decide to do for the fifth question. right? Okay, Robin is saying that the answer for the fifth question should be C. Let us wait for some more answers before we move ahead. You all are participating, you all are giving answers actively, which is very good. Many of you all are regular students in these live sessions, which is again very, very good. I hope that you all are studying very well. Do remember that please revise everything that you are reading, especially so far as your GA, FM, and ESI part is concerned, so far as RBI is concerned, and also ARD so far as NABARD is concerned. Revising is very important so far as these components is concerned, and so far as quant and logical reasoning is concerned, solving questions on a regular basis, that is very, very important. So keep doing that and you will be able to perform well in these examinations. Fifth question, Priya saying that the answer should be C. Nadeem is saying that the answer should be D. So there is some confusion over here. All right, Chaya Chaudhary is saying that the answer should be A. Welcome Chaya, welcome to EduTap. Moving ahead, right to culture and educational rights. We are again talking about the same right. Right to culture and educational right. What does it imply? Does it imply provision of free and compulsory education up to high school? Does it imply special assistance to backward classes to educate them? Does it imply provision of religious and cultural instruction in schools run by the government or receiving aid out of government funds? Does it imply right of minorities to establish and administer education institutions of their choice, or none of the above? What is the implication, or what is it that the right to cultural and education right imply? आपको ये बताना है कि उसका implication क्या है, right? Free and compulsory education, special assistance to backward classes, religious and cultural instructions in schools run by the government, right of minorities to establish and administer educational rights of their choice, right? So please give me the answer for the sixth question. 6A, 6B, 6C, 6D, 6E. जो भी चीज आपको सही लगती है उसके हिसाब से आप लोग सिक्स्थ क्वेश्चन का आंसर देंगे. Robin Hazari saying that the sixth question ka answer should be D. Let us wait for some answers. Robin is the first one off the block, the first one to give the answers over here in today's chat, right? Let us wait for some other answers. Pallavi Verma is saying that the answer should be sixth D. Let us wait for some more answers. I request Pallavi, Robin, as well as Nadeem, as well as Chaya to please be kind enough to answer homework questions at the end of this session, because we are giving homework questions after every session. This is the 38th session. If I have given 5 questions in the previous 35 sessions as homework questions, that means I have given approximately 175 questions by way of homework, and that is a good number of questions that you should be attempting and you should be knowing. It will be very helpful for you in the examination. Sixth question ka answer is coming C and D for various students. Moving ahead to the seventh question. Which one of the following rights was described by Dr. B.R. Ambedkar as the heart and soul of the Constitution? Right to equality, right to freedom, right to constitutional remedies, right to freedom of religion, or none of the above? Which, according to Dr. B.R. Ambedkar, is the heart and soul of the Constitution? Which fundamental right? Right to equality, right to freedom, right to constitutional remedies, right to freedom of religion, or none of the above? Right. Harsh is saying that the sixth question ka answer should be D. Priya Gairi is saying sixth question ka answer should be D. Alright, let us see what the answer for the seventh question should be according to you, right? 7A, 7B, 7D, 7C, or 7E. If you know which article is related to right to equality, please type it out. If you know which article is related to right to freedom, please type the number of the article. If you know which article talks about right to constitutional remedies, please tell me the number of that article. You should be knowing the number of these articles. In the theory that I'm going to discuss, I'm going to show almost all the articles ka numbers as well as text to you. So by the end of this session, you will be well versed with almost any and every fundamental rights, and you will be comfortably be able to answer all these questions that I am posing in front of you once I discuss the theory with you. So just be a little more patient with me. Let me show 10 questions to you. Then I'll be discussing the theory with you, and thereafter you'll be very comfortable with all these questions that I have discussed so far with you, right? So seventh question ka answer is coming A and C, right? Robin is saying C, Pallavi is saying A, Nadeem is saying C. So there is a lot of confusion on the seventh question ka answer. Moving ahead to the eighth question. To which of the following rights the foreigners are entitled under the Indian Constitution? There should be a question mark which is missing. I'm sorry about that. To which of the following rights the foreigners are entitled under the Indian Constitution? Question mark. Right against exploitation, right to equality before law, right to life and personal liberty, all of the above rights, or none of the above rights? You have to tell me, like for example, what is the question, what is the broader context of in which the question is being asked. The idea is that certain fundamental rights are available to citizens. Out of those rights, certain rights are also available to foreigners, right? So foreigners who are in India, even they do enjoy certain fundamental rights. Okay. Now, which rights are the ones which foreigners are able to enjoy? you should be knowing that, right? So right against exploitation, is it something which is available to foreigners? Right to equality before law, right to life and personal liberty, all of the above rights or none of the above rights? You have to tell me that foreigners are entitled to which of the following rights under the Indian Constitution. Chaya Chaudhary is saying that the 8th question ka answer should be D, right? I'm waiting for certain other answers, right? I'm waiting for certain other answers. Harsh, Nadeem and Robin all are saying that the 8th question ka answer should be D. Moving ahead to the 9th question. Now this is a longish question, so please take some time to read it. Which one of the following statements is correct? Fundamental rights of the Indian citizens cannot be suspended under any circumstances. Fundamental rights of the Indian citizens can be suspended by the parliament by a 2/3 majority. Fundamental rights of the Indian citizens can be suspended by the president during the national emergency. Fundamental rights of the Indian citizen can be suspended by the president during the national emergency as well as emergency imposed due to breakdown of constitutional machinery in a state, or none of the above. Now we are talking about suspension of fundamental rights. You just have to know that in which circumstance and how exactly can fundamental rights be suspended. If you know that, that's just a simple question. It's just a lengthy looking question. You should not be afraid of these kind of questions in the examination. Sometimes question just appears lengthy, but they are pretty simple, straightforward question. In my opinion, if you know it, it's a very simple, straightforward question, that in which circumstance, in which scenario can fundamental rights be suspended? It's just as simple as that, right? Under any circumstance, can be suspended by parliament by 2/3 majority, can be suspended by president during national emergency, can be suspended by president during national emergency as well as emergency arising due to breakdown of constitutional machinery, or none of the above statements are correct. आपको ये बता देना कि कौन से statements are correct. 9th question का answer I am seeing is C for many students. Harsh, Robin, Chaya, Rakesh have given 9th question का answer as C. Moving ahead to the 10th question. Now we are talking about the criticisms of fundamental rights. You need to have a true understanding of fundamental rights to be able to answer this kind of a conceptually challenging question. This can appear for a 2-mark, this can be a 2-marker question in your examination, as well as the previous one can be a 2-marker question in your examination. Which one of the following points of criticism against the fundamental rights has been wrongly listed? Right? So which of the following is not a criticism is basically the question, right? Out of the given options, which is not a criticism? Economic and social rights do not find any place in the chapter on fundamental rights. Is this a criticism or is this not a criticism, right? If it is not a criticism, then this is your answer. Fundamental rights are absolute and attach too much importance to the interests of the individual. Is this a criticism or is this not a criticism? Remedies for the protection of the fundamental rights are very expensive and beyond the capacity of ordinary citizens. Is this a criticism or is this not a criticism? The rights are hedged with so many restrictions and limitations that they virtually become ineffective. Is this a criticism or not a criticism? And none of the above. You have to select something which is not a criticism, right? Which has been wrongly listed. So fundamental rights are absolute and attach too much importance to the interest of the individual. Remedies are expensive beyond the capacity of ordinary citizens. Rights are hedged with reservations, with limitations. Economics and social rights do not find any place. Which of these criticism has been wrongly listed, right? You have to tell me that. So this is the question. This is a tricky question, I would say. Please take your time to answer this question. Robin Hazari is saying that the 10th question ka answer should be A. Nadeem Azad is saying that the 10th question ka answer should be D, right? Jitendra Verma is saying that the 10th question ka answer should be D. So see, what happens is, friends, that when you make a mistake in a 2-marker question, you lose 0.50 marks. That is a very heavy loss, right? So be very careful in making mistakes in your 2-marker questions. Keep that in mind. Your 1-markers, I can understand, keep, 0.25 marks is gone. But when you are losing 0.50 marks and not gaining anything out of it, that really pulls you back in these competitive examinations. Do keep that in mind. Now give me 10 minutes to discuss the entire theory of fundamental rights with you. By the end of these 10-15 minutes, you will be in a very rock solid position to be able to answer almost any and every question that I can throw regarding fundamental rights to you. So please give me 10 minutes to discuss the theory about fundamental rights. Now the first thing that you need to keep in mind is that the Indian Constitution is divided into various parts. Part 1, Part 2, Part 3, Part 4, Part 4A, Part 5, Part 6, so on and so forth. Right? So fundamental rights as mentioned in part 3 of the Constitution. This can also be a type of question in the examination. They can ask you as to ये part में क्या discuss करा गया है या ये चीज कौन से part में discuss करी गई है. For example, DPSP कौन से part में discuss करे गए हैं या फिर मान लीजिए कि part 17 के अंदर कौन सी चीज discuss करी गई है. So part 3 के अंदर fundamental rights have been mentioned. Articles 12 to 35 cover fundamental rights. So you should know this. both these things are very, very important. Part 3 as well as articles 12 to 35 are talking about fundamental rights, right? To all persons. So fundamental rights are available to all persons in India without any discrimination. Where have we taken the inspiration for fundamental rights? We have taken the inspiration from the American Constitution. To be precise, we have taken the inspiration for fundamental rights from the Bill of Rights of the American Constitution, right? So if somebody asks you कि inspiration कहाँ से आया है, not Russia, not France, not Japan, not Germany, but from the American Constitution. All right. Why are they called fundamental? Why is it that they are called fundamental? Fundamental suggests that they are very important, right? We have separately listed them. We have made special provisions for their protection. Why? Because they are very important. Without these fundamental rights, we as citizens will not be able to truly enjoy our special privileges, right? They are guaranteed and protected by the Indian Constitution. They are important for all-round development of individuals, and their claims of the citizens against the state. So if you are a citizen, if I am a citizen, we can claim these fundamental rights against the state in the sense that state is obliged, is required to ensure that we are able to enjoy our fundamental rights. What is the utility of these fundamental rights? What is the use of these fundamental rights? So these fundamental rights are important for promoting the ideal of political democracy. What is the meaning of political democracy? It means that you and I, we are citizens of India, and we are having certain special positions, we are having certain special privileges. We can choose the government should serve us. You know, our lives should be worth living, right? So we should be having certain freedoms, and those freedoms, those rights that we should be having are something which we have enshrined within the fundamental rights. They uphold equality of all individuals. So, you know, any caste-based discrimination, gender-based discrimination, language-based discrimination, you know, religion-based discrimination, all those discriminations which can be possible, which are possible, they can be sort of, you know, avoided or can be removed from the society thanks to the presence of fundamental rights. It upholds the dignity of the individuals. So you cannot treat me as an untouchable, right? You cannot do that. If you could do that earlier, now you can't do that, right? Why? Because it is something which is it is a part of fundamental rights. Article 17, for example, talks about abolition of untouchability, right? So it upholds the dignity of the individuals. Larger public interest को भी ध्यान में रखा गया है, and unity of nation. All these ideals, all these principles are upheld by the fundamental rights. It prevents the establishment of an authoritarian and despotic rule, right? So what is the meaning of authoritarian and despotic rule? Any government which is not elected by the people, right, will not be able to rule, will not be able to suppress your rights, will not be able to suppress your freedoms, will not be able to kill your individuality, right? So these are some of the utilities of fundamental rights, right? Now what we have done is that articles 12 to 35 cover 6 types of fundamental rights. There is right to equality, right to freedom, right against exploitation, right to freedom of religion, cultural and educational rights, and right to constitutional remedies. It is my sincere request that if you don't know it, please repeat after me twice, right? There are 6 types of rights that we are going to talk about. 1. Equality. 2. Freedom. 3. Exploitation. 4. Religion. 5. Culture and education. 6. Constitutional remedies. I'm going to repeat it once. Please repeat with me if this is new to you, because this is very important that you know it. 1. Equality. 2. Freedom. 3. Exploitation. 4. Religion. 5. Culture and education rights. And 6. Constitutional remedies. These are the 6 types of rights that have been provided to us within the fundamental rights. Now, what does equality talk about, right? So what does equality talk about? Equality, right to equality basically covers articles 14 to 18. Now what we have done is that I have given you a complete list of articles, and you should commit these articles to your memory. आपको याद होना चाहिए पूरा का पूरा. For example, Article 14 talks about equality before law and equal protection of laws. Article 15 talks about prohibition of discrimination on grounds of religion, race, caste, sex or place of birth. Article 16 talks about equality of opportunities in matters of public employment. Article 17 talks about abolition of untouchability. Article 18 talks about abolition of titles except military and academic titles, right? So right to equality के अंदर articles 14 to 18 यानी कि 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 आर्टिकल्स कवर करे गए हैं, और उन सारे आर्टिकल्स के टाइटल्स मैंने आपके सामने रखे हैं. प्लीज टेक अ स्क्रीनशॉट ऑफ दिस एंड प्लीज कमिट इट टू योर मेमोरी. खाने के पहले एक बार, खाने के बाद एक बार, ऐसे आप करेंगे 2-4 दिन, आपको याद हो जाएगा. देन लेट अस टॉक अबाउट राइट टू फ्रीडम. Under right to freedom, they talk about Article 19, right? So Article 19 gives you 6 rights. Okay, 6 rights are provided to you through Article 19. Speech and expression, assembly, association, movement, residence and profession के rights आपके पास available है through Article 16. Article 20 gives you protection in respect of conviction for offenses. Article 21 talks about protection of life and personal liberty, and Article 21A talks about right to elementary education. This was added by the 86th Amendment Act 2002. How do you remember this? 8 plus 6 equals to 14. 14 is a very important number, right? So through this 86th Amendment Act, we have added right to elementary education. So 8 plus 6, 14. We have added 21A via a 86th Constitutional Amendment Act. And Article 22, it talks about protection against arrest and detention in certain cases. Okay. So right to freedom के अंदर ये आर्टिकल्स आपको मालूम होने चाहिए. right to equality के अंदर आपको ये आर्टिकल्स मालूम होने चाहिए. right to freedom के अंदर आपको ये आर्टिकल्स मालूम होने चाहिए. Right. Moving ahead, right against exploitation. It covers basically two types of rights, Articles 23 and 24. Article 23 says prohibition of traffic in human beings and forced labor. Article 24 prohibits employment of children in factories, etc. So both these two articles are related to right against exploitation. Then there is right to freedom of religion. So you have Articles 25, 26, 27, 28, which talk about right to freedom of religion. 25 talks about free profession, practice and propagation of religion. 26 says there should be freedom to manage religious affairs. 27 says that there should be freedom from payment of taxes for promotion of any religion. 28 says that there should be freedom from attending religious instructions or worship in certain education institutions. Cultural and educational rights are enshrined under Articles 29 and 30. 29 talks about protection of language, script and culture of minorities. 30 talks about right of minorities to establish and administer education institutions. 32 is right to constitutional remedies. So this is the right to move Supreme Court for the enforcement of fundamental rights, including the writs of habeas corpus, mandamus, prohibition, certiorari and quo warranto. So if your rights are infringed upon or if your rights are violated, you can approach the Supreme Court and the Supreme Court will enforce your fundamental rights for you. So if anybody is taking your fundamental rights away from you, you can approach the Supreme Court. So this is the table that you should take a screenshot of, right? Right to equality 14, 15, 16, 17, 18. Right to freedom 19, 20, 21, 21A, 22. Right against exploitation 23, 24. Right to freedom of religion 25, 26, 27, 28. Cultural and educational rights 29 and 30. Constitutional remedies 32. I am parroting this not for myself. I remember this by heart. At any point of time, I know all these rights by heart. I am repeating this for you. So please repeat after me. Equality is talking about 14, 15, 16, 17 and 18. 14 talks about equal protection, equality before law, equal protection of law. 15 talks about prohibition of discrimination. 16 talks about equality of opportunity. 17 talks about abolition of untouchability. 18 talks about abolition of titles. 14 equality before law. 15 prohibition of discrimination. 16 equality of opportunity. 17 abolition of untouchability. 18 abolition of titles. 2-4 बार करेंगे याद हो जाएगा. Right to freedom, it talks about 19, 20, 21, 22, right? And 21A. What does 19 talk about? It talks about 6 rights. What does 20 talk about? Offenses. 21 life and personal liberty. 21A elementary education. 22 detention and arrest. Moving ahead, exploitation 23 and 24. 23 talks about prohibition of traffic in human being and forced labor. 24 talks about prohibition of employment of children in factories. Right to freedom of religion. 25 talks about profession, practice, propagation. 26 manage religious affairs. 27 taxes. 28 instruction. 29 is cultural and educational rights. It talks about protection of language, script and culture. 30 talks about right of minorities to establish and administer education institutions. And 32, this talks about enforcement of rights. So these are your rights that you should be knowing. Now, there are certain rights which are available to citizens only. So 15 is available only to citizens. Do you remember what is 15? If you remember, please type it out in the comment section. 16 is available only to citizens. Please type out what is 16. 19 is available only to citizens. 29 is available only to citizens. 30 is available only to citizens. The test that you should be subjecting yourselves to is that you should remember, you should be able to recall, you should be able to tell me that what is it that 15 talks about. In your examination, they can very well ask you that 15 क्या है, 16 क्या है, 21 क्या है, 21A क्या है, 24 क्या है. एकदम चिंदी क्वेश्चन है, एकदम फालतू क्वेश्चन, एकदम बेकार क्वेश्चन है, एकदम हलवा क्वेश्चन है. फेंके हुए मार्क्स से आपको उठाने आने चाहिए, बस आपको आर्टिकल्स याद होने चाहिए. तो 15, 16, 19, 29, 30 ये राइट टू सिटीजंस ओनली है. और फॉरेनर्स के पास कौन से राइट्स अवेलेबल है? 14, 20, 21, 21A, 22, 23, 24 एंड 25, 28. दीज आर राइट्स टू सिटीजंस एज वेल एज फॉरेनर्स अवेलेबल है. तो फॉरेनर्स के पास कौन से हैं? 14, 20, 21, 21A, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28. सो इट इज ईजियर टू रिमेंबर कि सिटीजंस ओनली के पास कौन से हैं, राइट? और जो भी सिटीजंस ओनली के पास है वो ऑब्वियसली फॉरेनर्स के पास नहीं है. तो सिटीजंस ओनली के पास 5 राइट्स हैं. इन 5 के अलावा बाकी राइट्स फॉरेनर्स के पास अवेलेबल है. इस प्रकार से आपको याद करना चाहिए, राइट? नागारानी, यू आर asking when will the notification come? The notification is expected very soon. The exam is also expected very soon. बहुत ज्यादा मेहनत करके आपको तैयारी करनी है, right? Now, what are the features of fundamental rights? They are very comprehensive, very detailed. Like we just saw, they are very detailed, very comprehensive. They are qualified, not absolute rights. What is the meaning of qualified rights, not absolute rights? There are certain exceptions mentioned within fundamental rights. There are certain restrictions mentioned within fundamental rights. Like for example, I have right to freedom of expression, for example. Right, via article 19, but my freedom of expression doesn't mean that मैं ये बोलूंगा कि भारत तेरे टुकड़े टुकड़े. That is not allowed, right? That is prohibited, right? I can't say that. So I am just giving you an example. I am not saying that. So the point is that there are certain restrictions which have been placed upon freedom of expression also. So the basic idea is that yes, rights are available, but those rights are not absolute. Those rights are not pure. They are qualified. These rights are considered justiciable. What is the meaning of justiciable? That if anybody violates your right, you can go to the Supreme Court, you can go to even the High Court and get your rights enforced. These rights are amendable by the Parliament. That means that the Parliament is having the powers to amend these rights. For example, we said that the 86th Constitution Amendment Act added article 21A, which made elementary education a fundamental right, right? So this is something that you need to keep in mind. They are negative in character, right? So prohibitions have been placed ki state cannot do this, state cannot do that, state cannot do this, state cannot do this. So these are basically negative in character in the sense that they are prohibiting certain things from being done. The idea is that the British government was a very bad government, was a very brutal government, was a very inhuman kind of a government who used to do all kinds of atrocities against citizens of India or against those that time inhabitants of India, right? So the idea is that we want to put some kind of restrictions on the powers of the government, restrictions on the powers of state, right? That is why we are seeing these negative fundamental rights which say that state cannot do this, state cannot do that. And there are a wide set of beneficiaries, right, in the sense that it is available to citizens as well as to foreigners. And yes, these rights can be suspended during national emergency by the president. Keep this in mind that it can be suspended during the national emergency by the president. This is something that you need to very well keep in mind. Okay, now I am again placing these 10 questions in front of you. Okay, and I am requesting you to please be kind enough to answer these questions again, right, with a very free mind. Now 6 freedoms that we have spoken about: your freedom of speech, expression, assembly, movement, occupation, residence. The 6 freedoms of the Indian Constitution, they have been enshrined in which article of the Indian Constitution? 14 to 28, 14 to 35, 19, 21 to 26, or none of the above? Now I'm requesting all of you to please be kind enough to give me the exactly correct answer over here, right? Please be trying to attempt this question again and give me the right answer over here based upon our discussion so far. I know that within 10 minutes I have discussed the theory with you and I'm expecting you to answer, but yes, this is the nature. The right answer to this question is C. Article 19 talks about 6 freedoms, right? Your expression, your assembly, your residence, your occupation, your movement, they are mentioned in Article 19 of the Indian Constitution. Right against exploitation seeks to protect the weaker section of society. Exactly how? So we spoke about right against exploitation when we spoke about articles 23 and 24. What was the content of article 23? Do you remember? What was the content of article 24? Do you remember? If you remember those, if you just remember the titles, you should be in a safe position to be able to answer, right? What is the answer for the second question? So Neha Singh, your article 19 ka answer is correct. Priya Gairi Manjot, your article's answer should be C over here. Priya Manjot, article answer should be 19th ka answer, it should be 19, article 19. Answer should be not B over here, article answer should be C, article 19. So Jitendra Verma, your answer is correct. Shweta Singh, your answer is correct. I understand this has been a little difficult topic for most of the students because many of us have not studied it, but that is exactly why we are discussing it with you, so that बाद में जब आप पढ़ें इस सारी चीजों को, you don't spend too much time on it. It's okay, you are making mistakes now. Second question का answer is A. Second question का answer is A over here. Why? Because what we have done is that via articles 23 and via articles 24, what we have done is that prohibition of traffic in human beings and begar, that has been done. And for article 24, we say that children will not be employed in factories, right, against exploitation, right? So keep this in mind. Second question ka answer is A, and many of you are giving it right, right? So that is very good. Moving ahead to the third question. Right to freedom of religion, articles 25, 26, 27, 28, Sarva Dharm Sambhav. We call these articles as articles enshrining the value of Sarva Dharm Sambhav. So ये जो Sarva Dharm Sambhav, right to freedom of religion वाले article है, what do they imply? Are that citizens are free to have faith in a religion other than state religion? Is there a state religion in India? No, there is no state religion in India. Have to follow the religion of state? No, there is no religion of the state in India. We are not a Hindu country. We are not a Muslim country. We are not a Christian country. There is no religion of the state. Please be very clear about that. No matter what we like or we don't like, have the freedom to profess, practice, or propagate a religion of their choice. Did we read something like this while talking about Article 25? While reading about Article 25, did we come across these words, profess, practice, or propagate? Yes, we did come across. Therefore, the answer should be C over here. It doesn't matter what is my religion, to whether if I am appointed to SEBI, RBI, NABARD, it doesn't matter what my religion is, whether I follow any religion, whether I have any respect for religion and its managers. That is completely not taken into consideration. The answer to this question is C. Third question ka answer is C. Pallavi, Neha, Priya, Harsh, your answers are correct. Moving ahead to the fourth question. राइट टू फ्रीडम ऑफ रिलीजन का मतलब क्या होता है? रिलीजियस इंस्ट्रक्शन शैल बी प्रोवाइडेड इन ऑल गवर्नमेंट एजुकेशन इंस्टीट्यूशंस? नो, इन गवर्नमेंट एजुकेशन इंस्टीट्यूशंस रिलीजियस इंस्ट्रक्शंस विल नॉट बी प्रोवाइडेड. स्टेट शैल एनकरेज रिलीजियस थिंकिंग एंड गिव प्रेफरेंस टू पर्सन्स विद रिलीजियस बेंट ऑफ माइंड इन मैटर ऑफ एम्प्लॉयमेंट? नॉट एट ऑल. इफ दैट वर द केस, फ्रॉम डे वन आई वुड probably be reciting Gita, probably be reciting Quran, probably be reciting Bible, which I have not been doing because state is not expecting me to do that. All persons shall have right to establish institutions for religious and educational purposes. This is absolutely correct, and that is why the fourth question ka answer is C. I am requesting you that please read the articles very, very carefully. We have discussed everything as a part of our course, right? Be a part of our course. You will benefit from those discussions. Moving ahead to the fifth question. Constitution grants cultural and educational rights. Why does Constitution grant cultural educational rights? Because we want to evolve a common national culture? No, there is no such thing as common national culture. Culture in Mumbai, in Hyderabad, in Kolkata, in Chandigarh, in Delhi, in Ahmedabad, their culture is dramatically different. We cannot even ever hope to establish a common national culture, right? Because there is so much diversity. Have we given cultural and educational rights so that we can eradicate illiteracy from the country? Not at all. Have we given cultural and educational rights to help the minorities conserve their culture? Yes. If you look at the articles 29 and 30, one of the articles clearly talks about the rights of minorities, and that is why the answer to this question, fifth question, is C. And Pallavi, your answer is correct. Harsh, your answer is correct. Neha, Chinmoy, Priya, your answers are correct. Moving ahead to the sixth question. Right to cultural and educational right implies what? Provision of free and compulsory education up to high school? Not at all. Is this mentioned in 29 and 30? Not at all. You should know the article numbers. You should know the heading of those articles at least. At least इतना मालूम होना चाहिए. Special assistance to backward classes to educate them? No. Provision of religious and cultural instructions in schools run by government or receiving aid out of government funds? No. Right of minorities to establish and administer education institutions of their choice? Yes. And that is why the answer to this question is D. I am again reiterating, just by knowing the articles and their titles, you will be in a position to be able to attempt these kind of questions. Do practice, do learn, do imbibe what I am trying to tell you. Which one of the following rights was described by Dr. B.R. Ambedkar as the heart and soul of the Constitution? This is something that I had not discussed earlier, so it would be unfair of me to ask you to be able to answer correctly 100%. The answer over is right to constitutional remedies. Baba Sahib said that right to constitutional remedies is the heart and soul of the Constitution. Why? Because let us say my fundamental rights are getting violated. What I can do is that I can use my rights which are available under this article 32, which is talking about right to constitutional remedies. I can approach the Supreme Court, I can approach these courts, then get my rights enforced, get my rights, actually available to me. So the idea is that without this right to constitutional remedy, without this right to go to the courts and get my rights enforced, constitution has no heart, constitution has no soul. Why? Because this 32, this article 32 is giving me the power to be able to help myself by approaching the courts. That is why this is considered to be the heart and soul of the constitution. Moving ahead to question number 8. To which of the following rights are foreigners entitled under the Indian constitution? Right? So I told you that it is easier to remember कि citizens only के पास कौन से rights हैं and remaining rights are available to foreigners. So citizens only के पास कौन से rights है, quickly आप लोग comment करके बता दीजिए कि citizens only के पास कौन से rights हैं और उसके अलावा सारे rights foreigners के पास available होंगे. Right against exploitation, right to equality before law, right to life and personal liberty, are these available to foreigners? Yes, all these are available to the foreigners, and that is why the answer to this question is D. I hope that we are learning something from this session. I know that many a times some of these sessions can be challenging. If you're learning something, please give me a thumbs up in the comment section, and if you are actually learning something, please do like and share this session as well. Moving ahead to the 9th question. Talking about suspension of fundamental rights. While discussing suspension of fundamental rights, I had very categorically told you that under which circumstance can fundamental rights be suspended. I told you that fundamental rights can be suspended by the president during the national emergency, and that is why the 9th question ka answer over here is C. I hope that you are able to spot the right answers over here along with me. 9th question ka answer over here is C. Harsh, 15, 16, 19, 29, 30 are only available to Indian citizens. Thank you very much for commenting that, Harsh. Moving ahead to the 10th question. Now this is something that I need to discuss with you. Okay. Now there are a good number of criticisms that have been done for our fundamental rights. For example, economic and social rights have not been mentioned at all as a part of fundamental rights, right? That is a genuine criticism. The second criticism is that who has the ability, the power, the wherewithal, the resources to approach Supreme Court for getting their rights enforced? So option C is also correct. It is a correct criticism that yes, the protection, the remedies for protection of fundamental rights are expensive. मैं सुप्रीम कोर्ट जाऊंगा तो दिल्ली आने जाने का खर्चा कौन देगा मेरा, right? The rights are hedged with so many restrictions and limitations that they virtually become ineffective. I told you that rights in India are not absolute. Right in India are not pure. There are restrictions, there are limitations which have been placed upon your enjoyment of fundamental rights. So certain thinkers believe that there are so many restrictions, so many limitations. It's like कि एक हाथ से right दिया, दूसरे हाथ से right वापस से ले लिया through restrictions and limitations. So this is also a genuine criticism. Option B, fundamental rights are absolute and attach too much importance to the interest of individual is absolutely not correct. Right? This is absolutely not true. Neither are fundamental rights absolute, nor do they attach too much importance to the interest of individuals. The interest of individual is balanced with the public interest. Like for example, I told you that I cannot do anything to incite violence. I cannot speak anything to incite violence. I cannot disturb communal harmony. I cannot challenge the integrity of the country. So the idea is that fundamental rights are absolute and attach too much importance to the interest of individuals is absolutely not true. In fact, fundamental rights are not at all absolute and they do not give too much importance to the interest of individual. Rather, what they do is that they try to balance out the interest of individual along with the public interest. Therefore, which one of the following points of criticism has been wrongly listed? The answer to this question is B. Fundamental rights are absolute and attach too much importance to interest of individual. This has been wrongly listed. I hope that this is very clear to you. I know that this is challenging. I know that this demands conceptual clarity and understanding, which is precisely why I have placed these kind of questions over here. Please be kind enough to go through our course and be able to revise everything that we have discussed over here. Now, I had given certain homework questions in lecture 26. In lecture 26, I had asked you to give me a definition of spot rate. What is the meaning of the term spot rate? So I'm going to do that. I'm going to give that definition to you. Spot rate is the price quoted for immediate settlement. Let us say that you are interested in buying gold immediately. Let us say that you are interested in buying silver immediately. Let us say that you are buying shares of Reliance Industries Limited immediately, right? So जो immediate settlement आज का तुरंत current का जो भाव है, current market value जो है, that is referred to as your spot price. Immediate delivery at the moment of the quote. भाव दिया, मैंने पैसा दिया, मेरे को माल मिल गया. That is the meaning of spot rate. the other question that I had asked for lecture 26 is define forward rate. What is forward rate? It is settlement price of a transaction that will not take place until a predetermined rate. मान लीजिए कि आज से 1 महीने बाद हमारे को सौदा करना है, वो 1 महीने बाद जो भी सौदा करना है तो उसका भाव आज तय करना, दैट इज द फॉरवर्ड रेट, राइट. 1 महीने बाद क्या होने वाला है, वी डोंट नो, राइट. लेट अस से कि मुझे लगता है कि भाव और ज्यादा ऊपर चला जाएगा तो मैं आज कम भाव के ऊपर फॉरवर्ड रेट के ऊपर सौदा बुक करना चाहता हूं, राइट. मुझे लगता है भाव नीचे चला जाएगा तो मैं आज ही ऊंचे वाले भाव के ऊपर माल को 1 महीना आगे बेचकर निकल जाना चाहता हूं. सो फॉरवर्ड रेट हेल्प्स अस इन हेजिंग. सो दिस फॉरवर्ड रेट इज सेटलमेंट प्राइस ऑफ अ ट्रांजैक्शन दैट विल टेक प्लेस ऑन अ प्रीडिटरमाइंड डेट. The next question that I had asked you was outline salient features of Ayushman Bharat Pradhan Mantri Jan Arogya Yojana, and I have taken the pain to bring, no, rather it is my duty, I have done my duty to collect important points related to Ayushman Bharat Pradhan Mantri Jan Arogya Yojana. It was launched in 2018 at Ranchi. 5 लाख रुपया प्रति फैमिली फॉर सेकेंडरी एंड टर्शरी केयर दिया जाता है टू 10.7 करोड़ वल्नरेबल फैमिलीज कवरिंग अप्रोक्सीमेटली 50 करोड़ बेनिफिशियरीज. हेल्थ एंड वेलनेस सेंटर्स बनवाएंगे, फाइनेंशियल प्रोटेक्शन देंगे, पब्लिक एंड प्राइवेट सेक्टर हॉस्पिटल्स दोनों की मदद से इस स्कीम को लॉन्च करा जाएगा. 1,50,000 हेल्थ वेलनेस सेंटर्स बनाए जाएंगे एंड द फर्स्ट हेल्थ एंड वेलनेस सेंटर was inaugurated in Jangla, Bijapur in Chhattisgarh in 2018. All these important factual points regarding Ayushman Bharat Pradhan Mantri Jan Arogya Yojana I have collected and placed in front of you. Another question that I had asked you was that tell me the salient features of One Nation One Ration Card system. It is launched by Department of Food and Public Administration. It is also called Integrated Management of Public Distribution System, and its objective is to bring about nationwide portability of ration card holders under National Food Security Act 2013, so that if I am, let us say, a ration card holder in Maharashtra, but if I want to lift my ration from Chhattisgarh ka fair price shop, I can do that, right? So migrant families ke liye it is going to be a blessing. So keeping all these things in mind, I had given the homework questions and I have discussed the homework questions with you over here. Now 5 more questions have been provided to you as homework based on lecture 37. Now this based on lecture 37 is just for the sake of saying things. I have given you 5 homework questions over here, right, regarding the recently launched Honey Farmer Producer Organization program. So first 2 questions are related to the HPO program, Honey Farmer Producer Organization HFPO program. 3, 4 and 5 are regarding Atmanirbhar Bharat Rozgar Yojana, which has again been recently launched. So these 5 questions are related to, you may see, the current aspect of ESI. You have to be kind enough to answer these questions within 1 hour of viewing this lecture. That is my sincere request to you. I hope that you will cover each and every chapter very thoroughly of economics and social issues as a part of your preparation for RBI. We have done exactly that as a part of our course. If you are facing any difficulties in preparing for these examinations, you can consider joining our courses. It will be very, very helpful for you. With this, we'll bring this long session to an end. Thank you very much for your kind participation. All the very best. Jai Hind and see you next Saturday. Thank you very much.